Alright guys, so we all know that the drone changed the film game. You know, drones changed the film game, because before drones it was impossible to take this kind of shots, you know, aerial shots. Before drones, you know, aerial shots were expensive. You know, aerial shots were like expensive. I could just imagine, like, you know, like regular filmmakers. So a drone, I use it for establishing shots. So this video is only going to be about establishing shots, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 establishing shots that you can take with a drone, guys. 7 establishing shots that you can take with a drone. So, and if you don't know what an establishing shot is a shot that just introduces your audience to the location where the action, where the scene is taking place. That's what an establishing shot is. I'll put some examples as we go along, so you kind of know what an establishing shot is. But yeah, so in filmmaking, an establishing shot establishes where the action is taking place. So that's what it is. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys, like I said, 7 establishing shots that you can take with a drone. And why is it good or better to take establishing shots with a drone? Why can't you take establishing shots with just a regular camera, or let's say a gimbal, or let's say a slider, or let's say a tripod? It's because it's just nothing can match the view that a drone can give you. You know, all those tripods, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be on the ground, and you can pan and stuff like that. You can tilt up and down. You know, a slider, you can go from left to right, back to forward, push-in shot and stuff like that. And a gimbal, yeah, you can do push-in shots and stuff like that, but nothing is gonna give you that bird's eye view like a drone will. So just a drone establishing shot is just like, it's unmatched, dudes. Like dude, it's just seeing the location from above, just like a bird. Like it's a whole different ball game, you know. That's why when you start using a drone, you need to up your prices, because if you don't up your prices, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. You know, you are leaving a lot of money on the table, you know. So here are the 7 establishing shots. So shot number 1 is the up to bottom shot. So the from up to the bottom, so up and down shot. So what I do with this shot is, you start where you can see the sky and everything, and then you just go down, and then you see the venue, and then keep going all the way down till you get to the ground. But you can cut it anywhere from there. But the whole idea is just to like bring the drone down from like up there in the air all the way down, just straight down from the top, straight up, and just start coming down. So that's called I call it the, you know, up to bottom shot. So up to bottom. Or better yet, let's name it a better name right now, live. We're gonna name it sky to ground shot. So sky to ground shot. Yeah, sky to ground shot. Okay, sky to ground. So sky to ground shot. There you go. So number 2, we're gonna call it the side to side shot. So what is the side to side shot? So side to side shot is just a shot where you position the drone where you can see the building, the location, the venue, and then you just go from like where you don't see the building to where you see the building. Okay, so side to side. So you can even pass the building, or you can go from left to right, or you can go from right to left. Whatever side you choose to move from, left to right or left to right, whatever is okay. Just it's called a side to side shot. Just a shot showing you the venue from like, you know, from like it's kind of introducing, you know, the venue. Like, okay, here is the venue where stuff is taking place, you know. So it's called a side to side shot. So I'll give you guys examples as I'm talking. So that way you get an idea and you see what I'm talking about instead of just kind of like trying to imagine it. I'll show you what I mean because I've taken all these shots. So establishing shot number 3 is one which probably everybody knows, 180 shot. So 180 shot is just you rotate, you orbit the object that you're shooting, in this case the venue or the location. You just orbit the location, the venue, the building, just showing the building, like just like rotating or kind of a move, like you kind of like rotating, you're orbiting the location. So that's the 180 shot. Okay guys, okay. So number 4 is the terrain shot. So what is a terrain shot? So a terrain shot is a shot where the drone is facing down, all the way down, straight up down, and it's just moving. You're just moving slowly, showing just the terrain. If it's a forest, if it's a desert, whatever, I call it the terrain shot. Okay, just showing the terrain, and that's all it is. It's establishing shot, and you can go all the way from the terrain, go from showing the landscape, the terrain, to showing where the venue, where the action's taking place. So that's also an establishing shot. You're establishing like, oh, this wedding is taking place at this kind of area, at this kind of terrain. If you by the ocean, if you're by the beach, so you just go from the ocean to the beach, and it's just like you are letting your audience know that you are at a body of water or close to a body of water, or you are in the forest, in the woods, like you're just showing your terrain. So you are establishing the location. It's called an establishing shot, because you're trying to paint a picture in your audience's mind, like, okay, we're here, this is what we're dealing with, this is where the bride and groom are. They're in Iceland. Look at all these nice mountains and stuff. Look at the terrain, all this black sand. Woo, you just, at that point, you're killing it. You know what I mean? Just showing the terrain. So that's what I call a terrain shot. I'll give you examples so you know what I mean. I use this a lot. Number 5 is the reveal shot. So the reveal shot is a shot where, like, you flying slowly with the drone, just showing like the sky, and then you go the way, like you kind of like you tilt the camera down.
According to Wikipedia, tilting is a cinematographic technique in which the camera stays in a fixed position but rotates up-down in a vertical plane.
That's what a reveal shot is. So you reveal the venue, but you start from the sky where like you're showing like, okay, so this is the terrain here, this is the landscape, and then bow, this is where it's taking place at. So you can do that, or you can start from showing the terrain, like, that shot which was the terrain shot, showing down, and then you like kind of like move the camera up to reveal where everything's taking place at, where the venue is. So that's a reveal shot. That's what I call a reveal shot. So you're establishing the location, but you give them more because you show them this is what the place, that's what the area looks like, and then this is what's taking place. This is how the sky looks, this is how the day looks, this is whatever, and then this is what's taking place. So you're revealing the location. Yeah, so that's the reveal shot. So number 6 is the skyline shot. So what is a skyline shot? So a skyline shot just a continuous shot of the object plus the skies. So that's what a skyline shot is, where you can see the venue, but also you can see, the sky. So it's I call that the skyline shot, where you can see the skyline plus whatever you're filming. So that's what I call a skyline shot, like, the skyline of New York, showing you the buildings and the sky and stuff like that. So that's what I call a skyline shot. So I'll show you guys all these shots. And number 7, number 7 is, we're going to call it the ground up shot. So I just thought about it because I only had 6 shots. So I had to come up with something so I can make 7 shots, because I've been talking about 7 cinematic shots. So 7, here you go. So the last shot is, we're going to call it the ground up shot. So I'll give you an example of how I do this shot. So it's a ground up shot. So I kind of like, just like, this works a lot if you have like a plain, you know, foreground area, like a plain terrain, and then you're just going like you're just going closer to the ground. You have to be close to the ground, and then as you get to the location, to the venue, you now go up with the drone. Like you just go up and all the way into the air, or do whatever, but you just kind of like go up. Or you could do other things where you can just like put the camera down or whatever. But yeah, so it's called the ground up shot. So I guess it's the opposite of the sky to ground. Actually, it's not, because the sky to ground you just go up and down. But this one, it's like you kind of like you're pushing into the venue. So you're pushing in. So you're pushing into the venue, and then you go all the way up. So you establish the venue. So we're gonna call this the ground up shot. Okay, guys. So those are the shots, and hopefully this video was helpful to you guys, and hopefully you get some ideas for your next wedding video, and you get some ideas of how to use a drone. I'm sure like indie filmmakers, like we're not even, you know, didn't have the money for aerial shots. You know, that's why probably like back in the days when you see a lot of these films, they don't have that many aerial shots. You know, only the big production, only big Hollywood movies had aerial shots and could afford aerial shots, because you had to pay, you know, the pilots, you had to pay, you know, for the planes, you know, because those things, it's a lot of money putting fuel in a freaking helicopter. You know, it's a lot of money for that, you know, and now you can just use a drone. And how much you're going to pay for the fuel in the drone? Just charge the battery for like an hour, and there you go, for free. You don't need no fuel every time you're flying a drone. You don't need any fuel. You know, just charge the batteries and you're good to go. And now these big companies that used to spend hundreds of thousands on these helicopters, now they just invested in, like, you know, the high-end drones, like, you know, the DJi Inspires and all these bigger drones, all these high-end quality drones whereby they last longer in the air, and they got crazy camera, 8K cameras on them and all that stuff, you know. So they've invested in those cameras, in those drones, and I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It's a game changer what you can do now compared to what you could do like 20 years ago. It's a huge difference, you know. And I can just imagine what we're going to be able to do 20 years from now. You know, we're going to be looking at the technology that we have now, like, damn, you guys were doing that, you know. Like, same way we look at back in the days, I'm like, damn, look at the footage from a GoPro. Wow, like, look at all, there was no Sony, like 20 years ago, there was no Sony mirrorless cameras. Like, you know, I don't know if there was, but not to the level of a A6 6000, you know. When that dropped, it's just changed the game, you know. So it's like back in the, like, you could, like 20 years ago, you can't even imagine the stuff that we have now, like gimbals and, you know, zillion cranes and stuff like that. Like, you could like back then it was only like glide cams and all that stuff that you have to like manually, you know, try and stabilize and stuff like that. But now there's all these like technologies just advancing. So I'm happy for the film world, and Sony, and I say Sony, and now Apple has iPhone 11, where it has like 3 cameras, wide angle, and all the, like, shooting 4K. Like, damn, Daniel, like, phones now shooting 4K. Actually, I heard that there was Chinese phone cameras that was, you know, Chinese phone companies that had that technology before Apple that was shooting 4K. Some, like, I don't know if it's a Samsung or whatever. I'm not into the whole phone, you know, world. I don't do no tech reviews. I'm not big in phones. As you could tell, I still have a Motorola here, and this was $100, you know. And yeah, my wife has iPhone. I have Android, The only Apple stuff that I use is my operating system, my desktop and my laptop. I use that for editing because this is the beast. But for just like talking and all that stuff, man, I'll get a cheap phone as long as I can do that there. And I don't need, if I needed to edit or do something on the phone, then I'll get an Apple or something that could do that. But I don't do editing and stuff on a phone, you know. I just like call people and save notes and stuff like that, schedule stuff. I don't do all the editing on the phone, you know. But the iPhone 11, I don't know. We'll see. So that's the history, man. So that's a little bit of history there, whereby like drones, like 20 years ago, you couldn't be able to do what you can do now with drones. You know, you couldn't be able. The technology is just advancing, guys. So it's a good step for the film world, and I really like that. At least we're advancing. So thank you for watching, guys, and please click the like button, guys. Please. If you love this video, please click the like button. I would really appreciate it, guys. And be sure to smash the subscribe and the like button at the same time. I will really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and much love, guys. Till the next video.